Folks, and welcome to your orders section of the FI Immunization and Orders Training. My name is again Angel Burgos. Today what we're going to cover is the FI enhancements to the orders module in general. Obviously, with the exception of the immunizations, we've just covered everything that has to do with the immunizations. We want to take a look at the basic values that have changed associated with the actual orders. So here, let's talk about what we have on our agenda, what we're going to review. First thing that we're going to take a look at is our critical range alerts, permissions enhancement. Basically, we have the ability now to set up critical ranges within the orders module. So if a order was out of range, the system could determine that an order was out of the range. The system could automatically give you an alert and tell you, hey, this is out of range, you may want to take a look at it. To customize a header and HTML results view just basically gives us the capability with simple check marks to determine what's going to show on the header of our page. What's really cool is the medical necessity rules may be run for any payer in EHR. So we have the capability of setting up a payer that's a non-Medicare payer to follow the medical necessity rules. So that's a pretty cool functionality. We'll take a look at that. We'll have the additional criteria for filtering orders. You may know there's now the immunizations that are embedded within the orders tab. So this gives us additional ways to filter out that particular tab, which is a nice little feature. When greater than one result, the same date and time have come back. This basically is just a quick view thing. We're going to take a look at. It's a superficial thing. You see that if there's been results that come back for the same date and time, you'll get a note that basically says that there's multiple values of the same for the same date and time that have come back. And we're going to talk about the results filters enhancement. The filter enhancement basically allows us to filter out our results to make it easier for us to find specific values within the base. And we will talk about the user preference for initial view of the orders module. And we'll talk about that and where that setting is. So that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into the application. This critical range alert permissions. So I'm just going to share my desktop and start off in System Admin. So we're going to start off in System Admin. System Admin, there are rights and permissions that allow us to determine these critical range alerts and the preferences for this. Now, this is a meaningful use to requirement to basically have the practices to give them the ability to specify which users may change the alert settings. So we do have that capability. Now, this is given at the group level. So anything given at the group level, you go into the group and then rights, permissions, scroll down until I find my orders. Under your orders, you'll see here these two options: Modify Lab Critical Range Alert and View Lab Critical Range Alert. One would give the user the right to actually adjust rules are going to produce a critical range alert. The other is your critical range alert. So that's basically saying, do you want them to even see that particular alert option? So options that you have to be aware of. You have those values, then you could go into the actual application and take a look at the orders itself. I thought a new encounter for today. All right. So if I go into the orders module. And I go into my orders here. What I'm saying is that values will give you a pop-up, so to speak. Sorry, just dropping my paper here. Find that pop-up. Okay, let's see if this one has it. On Results tab. So under Results tab, for the lipid panel, these were all the values that were ordered. Here you could see the triglycerides are at 160, basically giving us an alert saying that the triglycerides are high. So this is that critical alert range. This is the actual being able to view it. You say, okay, you'll be able to go in. Now, where do you actually set this up? Set this up under this setup option right here. So if I go on setup, it'll actually launch the window for your critical alert ranges. We just seen that the triglycerides, let's see if I could just type in here. I call it GRI. At the top, you'll actually have to select what panel or vendor it is that you're dealing with. In this particular situation, I'm dealing with LabCorp. And I can go in and I can set this up. So for my triglycerides, what do we have here? And for the scrolling, hopefully it doesn't make you too dizzy. Let me do this. Oh, okay, there we go. It is. So here you can see my triglycerides, the reference range. Now the reference range and unit values are going to come in based upon what you have set up in 5 minutes. That's where that's coming from. The range that we set actually added 2 different values, one for a low value and one for a high value, saying 2 different values. Now you do it on the same, you could give it a low and a high at the same point. It's only going to give you one prompt. So then your prompt would say, well, it's either high or low, and you have to figure it out. You know, that sort of thing. But in this particular situation, we have it as such. So let's do another one here so you can see it. We did cholesterol total. Now you have these. That's one. Oh, we already have those done. We'll just take a look at it and see editing it. Here, if you click on Add, it's going to be the same window. If you click on Edit, this is the window that you're going to see, so you could actually change the value. So here, our low range we set at 40. All right. So our low value we set at 40. You have the capability of adjusting your patient gender, so you could say that it's for both, maybe only for males, or maybe it's only for females. That's considered a critical range. They have the ability to determine what patient age the start age is and end age. Certain things are over 55. This is considered a high range, or that sort of thing. So the capability. Your critical range, again, you have low, high, depending on what you want to do, and then your prompt, whatever you want to say during that particular pop-up. All right, and is your critical range. Pretty simple. The big thing is, again, having to the prompt from some admin the way that we showed you. Again, the other thing is knowing what your system is set up for. In my lipids, I have my total cholesterol set up. I have HDL set up with information. All right, so my LDLs. This information, nope, that one doesn't look like it's the right one. My values do have ranges and units, and I know that because I set them up in file maintenance in order to show certain things. If yours are not set up, you won't be able to demonstrate it. That's one key point that I want to make there, that you do have to have your labs and orders set up in order to be fully functional so you can demonstrate this stuff. And you have to know which one it is. You may have several cholesterols in there, but you want to make sure that LabCorp is set up and that sort of thing from a components level in the back end. Of that, though, it's pretty simple, the functionality as far as the prompt is considered. So that's our first piece of this. Next are our print options on the result panel. And what that's saying is that, again, from the orders under results, click on your print options, a little here to the right. If you click on that, you can come down to your print options. You actually customize how this is going to show up, whether your components are going to show up in a certain mannerism or your results or whatever the case may be. You can actually customize the width, the range, and that sort of thing. Here, go into my header options, and this is where I could really change whatever is on the top of my document. So if I wanted to change the order date or have the order information on there, says the test location, I can off. All I have to do is hit on preview. You'll see there it pulls it off, or excuse me, yeah. Before you could take off the practice information. So over here I have my name, address, that sort of thing. Remove that information, or I could bring it back. It's entirely up to me how I set this up. All right, here you can see my performing, my location, and all the data that I have on this particular tab. And pretty simple, nice feature, nice functionality. All right, the next is a little bit more complex, but not too complex here. It basically, what we have here is we have the ability to run medical necessity for non-Medicaid patients. All right. So the necessity piece was only being used for Medicare patients, right? So you would go in, you would order something, let's just say headache and iron, medical necessity. Basically just saying that those two values don't have anything set up, so I wouldn't be able to do anything with that. Let me see, I have a better example here somewhere. I apologize. All right, so we'll just go forward with it. So let me just grab another one that I know works, hypertension and lipid. So here, if I run a medical necessity check, it said it didn't actually meet medical necessity. And why is that? Because I have it set up so Blue Cross Blue Shield actually accepts the same responsibilities that Medicare, Medicaid are accepting as well. So that's the whole reason why I was able to run medical necessity. So what I'll do is I'll show you how to turn that on or off and come back and I'll run the same test and we'll be able to see the results, right? So where you actually turn this on and off is at the payer level, file maintenance. If I go into file maintenance, I'm in my practice and my enterprise and my practice, I can go into master files under EHR. You can go to EPM too, it's in both sections, and it's here under your Payers tab. Your Payers tab, in that particular payer, here Blue Cross Blue Shield, because that's the one that the patient actually had associated with them. Up in the top far right, there's an actual orders module tab. So if I go to the orders module tab, you'll see here right at the top, your medical necessity follows Medicare rules for medical necessity checking. Turn that on or off. Let's just talk about what the functionality does. So as I showed you or demonstrated in EHR, it will allow for non-Medicare to actually follow the same Medicare rules. You'll have the ability to document what report path your ABN lives in, or where you're going to find that report, and you could set that up so you could generate that report directly from here. All right. So depending on what you have selected for that particular payer, the payer may have its own that they want you to utilize, and allow you to set that up by payer. All payers within the same financial class. What it's saying is that if I turn this on, anybody that falls under the same financial class will follow the same rules. Now find the financial class here under your System tab, and it's right here, Financial Class. So any one of these payers that has that financial class of BCBS, Blue Cross Blue Shield, it's automatically follow those same rules if I turn that particular option on. Now if I turn it off, the end users in EHR will not be able to run the medical necessity unless they have a Medicare payer. Your third performing entities, these are just what's going to default in your orders module. So let's see if I don't have to log all the way in and all the way out. What did we do? We did retention and the lipid panel. It's still running it. So I do have to log all the way out. No, I just rerun EHR just to make sure. If I would have said okay, huh? Making that you say okay before logging in may actually help your cause. Let's take a look at it now. Retention and lipid, and run the medical necessity. Medical necessity check cannot be run because the primary insurance selected does not follow Medicare rules. So, and that gives us the capability. It's all based upon what insurance I have selected here. This provider or the user has Blue Cross Blue Shield. That's the one that we just manipulated. I came in. I was unable to run the medical necessity check just because it's applied for. Okay. So that's a really slick feature and functionality. I did want to point out that we've seen in that file maintenance window the performing entity. Based upon my payer, it's going to show me LabCorp and then Orchard for radiology testing. So there you have it. My pride is LabCorp and then I think American Medical or something along those lines. Yeah, I think it's American Medical as the default. So because this individual patient has a specific payer associated with them, the payer is going to override that information. Oh, good stuff. Next, we have the new filter for orders. So what we're talking about is here on this screen, you can notice how busy it is. It has immunizations, it has orders, it has radiology tests, it has everything under the sun on this particular screen. So what we now have the capability of doing is actually filtering these orders. So if you click on this filter order, you'll see all this new stuff. Now previously, we did have the filter orders, but all it was display labs, display radiology, and a date range. So you see these two fields and these two fields, and that was it. Now we have the ability to display their immunizations, obviously, because they're part of the orders module now. You still have your date range, but now you can go down and really streamline what it is that you're looking at. So I wanted to display just my immunizations that were done by Abbott, Dr. Abbott. I can uncheck all, check all, and then uncheck all of these, and say, and you see that he doesn't have any. So I go to my filter, go back. It's my Abbott right there, but that's a lab. Barry. Let's go with Barry. Provider. No, it's not looking at. Let's see what we get. It's not liking that filter option there. All right. So here I just filtered out by all of the all I use. So just showing me all the immunizations. I'm not sure quite why. Let's see. We did provider. Check status. We don't need that. Locations. Yeah, I had the immunization selected, and let's go with pending. Find something for that. No. But as I mentioned, the easiest way to do it is just out your lab. So I could filter just my labs. I just want to see my labs. Here, if I want to, the labs are, if I want to see, just my pending labs, I could change my status to pending. That one's not working. It has worked in the past. Orders. Come on. Yeah. I report that in. But again, you see the functionality. It's nice, especially when you're just trying to see immunizations, or you're just trying to see your labs, or just trying to see your radiology. It makes it a lot easier to see that information. This is probably looking at our next-gen status. Let's see if we one more. Labs and ordered. There you go. It's looking at the next-gen status, not the result status. So, that's again a huge feature there, giving us the capability of filtering out, especially like I said, when it's this busy, makes it a lot easier for us to filter out. The next thing we're going to talk about is your time, date and time results. So this is actually saying is that here, result viewed short lab description, patient has some multiple results on the same date and time. All right, so that's what you're looking for. That's the new enhancement. Previously, it would just be grade. The value would be grade, and what that means is that here, if you click on the value that has a gray box around it, you'll see that there are multiple results for the same day. So you could view and see that history for particular results. Well, now, why would you have something like that? Maybe the lab ran a result and it was completely out of range, and they wanted to rerun the same specimen again, and they come back and they send it back with another value associated with it. It still got the same time date stamp, but it'll have a different value associated with it. Feature is on this page as well. It allows us to set up filters. So here we could actually set up filters to view specific data. So if we only wanted to see lipids or something along those lines, we would be able to go in and set up just show me lipid panels, or show me low values, or just show me high values. I mean, here, click on new, I come in, it's telling me at the top, you do not have permissions to save changes made to this filter. So it's not going to let me do anything with it. So even if I had a test description and I put in, I don't know, lipid, add the test, it's going to be there, but it doesn't allow me to save it. So it goes out and I come back in. So it allows you to still manage those filters even if you don't have access to it, but we got to look at where these rights and permissions actually come from. So they are in a couple different places or a couple different areas. And you could do it in a couple different ways. You could actually have it as a user level. You could do it at the practice level, and the all is going to always be there. But you have to have rights and permissions to actually do this. Some of the rights and permissions are in system admin. Some of the rights and permissions are in file maintenance. Let's take a look at the ones in system admin first. The first one that we're interested in is under the allowing updating practice filters. So with this saying no, this particular user, when they're in EHR and they go to create a new one, see this field down here, make this practice filter, it's grayed out. So the only one that we would be able to create let me just here as a but only make it a practice level. I can't make this, I can't turn it off. I can't adjust it to make it a personal level. So this gives me the right to turn that back on or off, and that again is this setting here, allow updating practice filters. So I had that capability. If it was given to me at the group level, I'd be able to actually do it. All right, that's one piece of it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to log off. I didn't want to actually close that. I'm going to log off with this user because I'm logged in as a Burgos, as an administrator, and I'll use a different user here, my little alter ego. Now, this individual has different rights. So if I manage filters, if I click on new, down here, I turn this on or off. But this is telling me your practice does not allow private filters. All filters must be practice level. So although I could turn it on and off here, I still really can't. And what it does allow me to do is up here, it allows me to save these filters to my top piece there. So in this particular situation, this is my lipid panel, and I could actually add it as lipid panel value to that. So here it is. I save it. I could promote it. I could demote it if I wanted to, but it'll stay there. When I apply this time, if I log out and log back in, I'll still see that information. I'm not sure. I also remove it, whatever the case may be. But in order to get this option down here, make this a practice filter, I have to go into File Maintenance. In File Maintenance, I have to go into Preferences, and your Orders module, you'll see here we have Allow Providers to Maintain Favorites. So if I allow my providers to maintain favorites, I'll be able to come in and actually adjust this and edit phone. Do you want to save? Yes. So I can come in, and I may have to log out and log back in real quick. Now if I come in, I can create a new filter. Lipid panel. And I could bring it down in here. I could actually filter it out by components if I wanted to, and we'll do that here in a second. I could also make this a user. Yeah, it's going to make me log all the way off. But I can make this a user value based off of what I've just selected in File Maintenance. I have the ability to set it for abnormal values. As you see up here, I have one that's just for low values, sort of filter out just by low. You could have start date, end dates, whatever the case may be. I could apply that. My lipid panel is showing, but it's still at the practice level. So everybody in the practice will be able to view this particular information. What I'm going to do is I'm going to log out, close out, and then relaunch EHR. Value. Patient. Did I want to say I did? All right. My filters, and you see I have a private one, a new one, and I can make it either at the practice level or I can make it private. So it's entirely up to me now what actually what I save it as. So here I have that new value, lines, the little bars there. These are my that are private, and these are the practice-wide values. So there are filter options. Again, it's a bit cumbersome. You do have to go into System Admin. You do have to go into File Maintenance to determine how you want that set up. But once it is pretty slick because it does stay there. Close out, you come back in, you'll be able to see those values. You all have them there. Like the other filters where you have to build the filter and come in. The one thing that you do want to remember is that if you have that filter on to read this little line here, if you're noticing that you're only seeing, a couple values. The last part here that we need to talk about is the user preferences to default the view. So basically, when I log in and I launch the orders module, notice how mine automatically goes to the results tab. That is user preference. I go to Tools, Preferences. Here, General tab, you'll see the initial view. So basically, what do you want to see? So if I open that up, you'll see that I have the capability of changing it to my order summary, or I can go and utilize the immunizations module and basically launch maybe the chart view or the recommendation view. It's entirely up to you what you want to utilize. I'm going to leave mine as is, but basically based on that setting, when I launch my orders module, it's going to automatically default to either your results, your orders view, or your immunizations, and either your chart or recommendation. That's pretty much it for our immunizations. Let's just recap real quick. What we basically covered is everything see here, your critical range alert permissions enhancement, the ability to customize the header and HTML results view, the necessity results may be ran for any payer in EHR. Additional criteria for filtering orders, we've seen that. No and greater than one result for the same date time. Results filter enhancement, which we just reviewed. And lastly, the initial view mode. At this point, it concludes our training. I'm going to open it up